Is religion, and the teachings of the Bible, responsible for countless wars and killing? It's a heavy question. Because when you look through the pages of history, blood and belief often seem to run together. From the Crusades and Inquisitions, to witch trials, jihads, and sectarian wars, religion seems to echo wherever humans draw swords in the name of heaven. But is faith really the spark? Or just the flag we wave once the fire's already started? Supporters of religion often point out the math. They'll say, only around 7% of recorded wars were directly caused by religion. That comes from the Encyclopedia of Wars, a massive historical study. And if you take out conflicts tied to Islam, that number supposedly drops to 3%. 3% sounds small, right? But then you remember, we're talking about human lives, not statistics. The Crusades alone lasted 200 years and left millions dead. The 30 Years' War wiped out a third of the German population. So, even a small fraction of all wars becomes enormous when faith is part of the fuse. The Christian view usually goes like this. Religion itself doesn't cause war, people do. Power-hungry rulers twist scripture. Priests and kings bless swords they never swing. They argue the problem isn't belief in God, it's the corruption of that belief. And that's a fair point. Every ideology, religious or not, can be weaponized. Communism killed millions without invoking any God. Nationalism has turned ordinary citizens into zealots under the banner of country, not Christ. So maybe the real issue isn't religion, but certainty. That unshakable conviction that your side is absolutely right. And everyone else is not just wrong, but evil. Still, atheists argue something deeper. If religion claims divine moral truth, shouldn't it be immune to human corruption? If the Bible really carries a perfect moral law, why can it be quoted both to bless a crusade and to justify turning the other cheek? Why can the same book inspire compassion and command genocide? In the Old Testament, we read about holy wars. God ordering the destruction of entire cities, men, women, and children. These aren't metaphors, they're celebrated victories. And that raises an unsettling question. If a sacred text can be used to sanctify violence, how do we decide when it speaks for God and when it speaks for us? Apologists will say context matters. They'll argue those ancient wars were part of God's justice in a violent world, not instructions for today. And they'll remind us, Christianity at its heart preaches peace. Love your enemies, turn the other cheek. Blessed are the peacemakers. Those are beautiful words. But history often ignored them. From the Crusaders marching under the cross, to colonizers forcing conversions at the tip of a sword, to modern extremists bombing clinics or buildings for God's will, the message of peace keeps being drowned out by the sound of righteousness gone wrong. Atheists see that pattern and say, maybe religion doesn't start every war, but it gives people moral permission to fight them. Because if you believe the creator of the universe backs your cause, no compromise feels necessary. No empathy feels required. And that's the danger, not faith itself, but faith combined with power. Maybe the real divide isn't between believer and unbeliever. It's between those who use belief to control, and those who use it to question themselves. History shows both kinds exist, priests and prophets, tyrants and saints, all holding the same book. So the question still stands. Is religion guilty, or just human nature wearing a halo? Can sacred words ever stay pure once they pass through human mouths? And if we truly crave peace, is it the gods we must convince, or ourselves? So the question still stands. Is religion guilty, or just human nature wearing a halo? Every empire has its altar. Every movement has its creed, even the ones that swear they've left faith behind. People worship certainty, comfort, progress, money, pride. The names change, the impulse doesn't. Maybe religion is simply the mirror where we finally see what we've been bowing to all along. Sacred words start pure, as whispers, poems, visions. Then they pass through councils, kings, translators, pulpits, microphones. Each time they lose a little oxygen and pick up fingerprints. The more people claim to speak for God, the harder it becomes to hear whatever first voice they were trying to echo. Still, those words have built hospitals, inspired revolutions, comforted the dying. They've also justified slaughter. So maybe purity isn't the test. Maybe endurance is, that somehow, across centuries of misuse, something gentle still survives in them. If we crave peace, maybe it isn't the gods we must convince. Maybe it's the parts of ourselves that love being right more than being kind. Maybe peace starts when belief stops needing to win. Because in the end, it's not the heavens that keep starting wars. It's us, still fighting to make our reflection look divine.